Power levels in Dragon Ball Z are among the series' most iconic yet debated features. Introduced as a way to quantify a character's strength, they quickly became a defining aspect of the early arcs, especially during the Saiyan and Frieza sagas. However, as the franchise evolved, fans and creators alike began to question the reliability and accuracy of power levels as a system for measuring a character's combat abilities. The origin and purpose of power levels. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, introduced power levels as a narrative tool to simplify the depiction of battles. His goal was to make it easier for readers and viewers to grasp the relative strength of different characters. Toriyama himself explained in interviews that power levels were a convenient way to visualize danger and tension, allowing enemies to locate opponents and determine their threat level without additional fights or explanations. In the Dragon Ball universe, power levels are measured using devices called scouters, most notably used by members of Frieza's army. Scouters scan the target's ki energy and assign it a numerical value. However, this number only reflects a person's power at a specific moment, making it inherently limited and often inaccurate in measuring their full potential. The inconsistencies and limitations. While power levels served as a simple storytelling tool in the early Dragon Ball Z arcs, they soon became unreliable for several reasons. Variable power output. Characters in Dragon Ball Z often change their power levels during battle by raising or suppressing their ki. For example, Goku can intentionally lower his power to conceal his strength from enemies, only to unleash it later. This means a scouter reading is just a snapshot of a character's power at a particular moment, not a comprehensive assessment. Transformation and power UPS. Many characters, especially Saiyans, undergo transformations that drastically increase their power. For instance, when Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan, his power level skyrockets far beyond what a scouter could have predicted. These transformations render static power level readings almost meaningless. Ki manipulation. Fighters can manipulate their ki to mislead scouters. For example, characters like Vegeta and Goku can intentionally suppress their power, causing opponents to underestimate them. This tactic diminishes the reliability of power levels in assessing a fighter's true potential. Non-combat factors. Power levels measure only raw strength and energy output. They don't account for a fighter's skill, tactics, or intelligence, all of which play crucial roles in battle. A higher power level doesn't guarantee victory, as demonstrated multiple times in the series when weaker opponents use strategy to defeat stronger foes. Why power levels were phased out. As Dragon Ball Z progressed, power levels were gradually phased out of the main story. By the time the Cell and Buu sagas arrived, numeric power levels were barely mentioned, if at all. This shift likely occurred because characters were reaching astronomical power levels that became too difficult to meaningfully quantify. The numbers were becoming so inflated that they risked reducing the complexity of battles to simple arithmetic. Furthermore, as Toriyama predicted, the rigid structure of power levels limited the narrative flexibility. If characters' outcomes could be determined by comparing numbers, it would eliminate much of the unpredictability and excitement that comes with the franchise's high-stakes battles. In-universe perspective. From an in-universe perspective, power levels served as a useful tool for Frieza's forces, who relied on scouters to gather intelligence during invasions. These readings were valuable for assessing immediate threats but weren't meant to provide an all-encompassing measure of a fighter's abilities. They helped soldiers decide which targets to focus on but didn't guarantee success in combat. Comparatively, power levels in Dragon Ball function similarly to real-world military intelligence. A general may compare the enemy's firepower against their own forces, but this analysis doesn't capture the full scope of a battle. Factors like terrain, strategy, morale, and alliances also play crucial roles in determining the outcome. Conclusion: are power levels accurate? Power levels in Dragon Ball Z are accurate within their intended purpose, providing a snapshot of a character's strength at a specific moment. However, they fail as a reliable long-term metric due to the dynamic nature of battles in the Dragon Ball universe. Characters' powers fluctuate, strategies evolve, and transformations alter the balance of power too dramatically for static numbers to capture. Ultimately, power levels are best understood as a narrative device that helped establish tension and danger in the early series. While they provide a nostalgic and memorable aspect of Dragon Ball Z, their limitations became evident as the story and its characters evolved into more complex and unpredictable forces.